Hello, Beaver fans, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Beavers. I believe this is episode 8 now already. We're flying through the season. The Minot State football team back on the gridiron once again this upcoming weekend to wrap up a rather longest road trip of the season. I know it's kind of weird to say 2 games, but they will be in Duluth this upcoming Saturday to play the Bulldogs, and just like that, we're practically on the home stretch, if you will. So it's good to have you back here with me, Beaver fans. I'm your host, Cole Clementich. We're going to introduce our next guest here of the series. In fact, why not? Let's get started. So before we talk Beaver football against Minnesota Duluth, our guest is from the Yuba City to the Magic City. This wide receiver is an experienced veteran on the gridiron for the Beavers, or slot back, if you will. Joining us now is grad student Erik Palmquist. Erik, good to have you here, man. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be here. Yeah. This season's been more than I've ever wanted thus far. It's been a long. This is my 5th year here, so it's been a lot of hours put in and a lot of stuff that's paying off. So.
Yeah, you said it there. This definitely has to feel like something that's all the time and effort has started to pay off for a season like this. And 3 games left. You guys you're still in the thick of things.
Mm-hmm.
But how awesome is it to be a part of this group, this special season? Making history, if you guys will.
Well, it's been. I remember coming in. I came in with my roommate Emmett Espino, and he still lives with me. So we noticed one thing, and that was that there wasn't a whole lot of seniors, and that's to be expected for a lot of teams. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna last. We're gonna change this program around, and he said he would too, and here we are. So it's been a whole lot of fun. It's been a long grind, and I know our record doesn't necessarily show exactly the way we want it, but we've been in every game, and the wins that we were a part of have been special and definitely fulfilling, and we're not done yet. So.
Yeah, it certainly feels like you guys belong in the conference, and you, like I said, lots of great things happening, making all kinds of progress there, and setting things up for the youngins, the next group, to the next wave of players to come in and set the standard, and all that is amazing stuff there, Erik. But let's talk over your career. What stood out to you? Well, we'll talk first from the beginning. Like, what stood out to you about Minot since day one, or before day one started for you?
Oh man, so just to go way back, I remember the day I got a follow. It happened to be from my former coach, Coach Zach Cunha. He actually coaches at SMSU now, and he shot me a follow, sent me a message, said, hey, I'd like to get you up here in Minot. Sent me his number. Noticed his area code was from my area, so then we connected back there. He actually coached against me in high school my junior year, and then late my senior year in February, I believe it was, of 2020, I got a visit out here. I love the people. I like the small community. It's something I'm used to back home in Yuba City, and it gave me an opportunity to continue my education and then also play this great sport of football. So
yeah, it's a small world, isn't it?
Oh yeah, especially the football world. You build so many connections, and you'd be surprised how many people know each other and how you can create more connections that way.
Yeah, and you can see Zach Cunha's name actually hanging up on the west side of the dome, I believe, the Scholar Athletes wall there. So yeah, really nice to be able to have, like you said, have those connections, and it's just really cool seeing there. And we'll get into this some of the details, of course, but how much has changed since you started here at Minot State?
Man, a lot. Like, I came in during COVID, so that was something to deal with for everybody. Like, they didn't really encourage us to do a whole lot my freshman year. Just everyone had their masks on, and it was just a mess there, with the weight room going from the 3rd floor to even, in the bubble to out into the dungeon where it is now. The change has been constant, but it's been good. I know we went through I've gone through so many coaches since I've been here, and that's a lot just to go through as just a athlete on the team, trying to build a connection with somebody, and then they leave, makes it tough. But that's just the business of the football or just college sports in general. People are constantly coming and going, and you kind of have to work through that. But the success that we're having now is made it all worth it. Really, it's made it all worth it. It's been, I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. I encourage anyone who thinks they have a chance at playing college sports, go play college sports. It's the coolest thing to get out and move. I'm from California, so I moved to a completely different state. Wasn't used to the cold. I remember watching snowfall for the first time, and that was pretty cool. And I met so many great people out here, so many great mentors, and then the team aspect is something that you won't get anywhere else. And each year you get a new set of freshmen that come in, and it's so fun to build those connections with those guys. And for our team especially, those younger guys we're set up bright for the future.
No, that is good, and good outlook to have for the Beaver football. I'll ask you this right now. Do you get any questions from the young guys, regarding, I don't know, playbooks or experiences or how to do one thing on the field or in practice? Do you get those type of moments with those guys?
It's every now and then. A lot, especially when they came in, they were really quiet, and I was the same way. And I wanted to make them, at least in my position group especially, I wanted them to feel comfortable around me, because I remember when I came in, I wanted, it helped when I had an older guy kind of make the room more comfortable and, ask me questions that I wouldn't even think of, So I try and, tell those younger guys what things are like, and maybe answer questions that they haven't even thought of yet, because I know I wish I would have had those answered when I was younger, for sure.
Well, it's good to be a veteran presence for the young guys, not just on the field, off the field even. That is all, again, more good stuff there, Eric. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about classroom life now. So, a little different, because you're a grad student.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, we're both in the sports management program. I already know the bulk of the classes, but if you want to tell the people watching, tell them a little bit about what sports management is like.
It's pretty cool. So I'm also in the management side too. I'm doing
the management too.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Double dip.
It's really cool. The classes are a lot more, I don't want to say engaging, but definitely more interesting from an athlete perspective. Like right before I came here, I was doing an assignment on leadership, and how you can go from a leadership to a follower kind of area, and how they both correlate, and what you wish you could have done better as a leader, or could have done better as someone who was looking up to a leader. And the classes are fun. It seems like a lot of work at times, but then once you get engaged into it, you're like, oh man, I'm already almost done with this. So I've been really close with Dr. Terry Ekman, and I know she's our professor in some of those classes. So she got me into that program. I love her as a mentor, and I love it. Yeah,
Dr. Terry Ekman was one of the first people that got me hooked up with class schedule, or I guess program of study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I want to give a special shout out to Dr. Terry Ekman. Thank you for that, as always. You mentioned leadership, and of course I know already, but tell the people some of the classes. What are some of the things that people can get away from this type of program?
Well, just learning how to manage in general. You're looking at it from not only, like I said, a leadership standpoint, but from a management standpoint. So kind of away from the sports world, you can, through our textbooks, you're learning how to manage a group of people, and all these. You learn about the money side of it as well. Like I had a class with Jerry Stye financially, and I'm not a finance major, so going into that class, it really opened my eyes in the financial world, and how you can really manage a whole thing with a whole lot of numbers, really. And I wasn't used to all that, so kind of looking at that was cool. Just kind of expand my brain a little bit, learn more on the business side of that aspect, because we need to know that for our future. So that was just one example. But from the sports management aspect, you're like in the big picture, I think it'd be really cool to stay involved with sports, stay involved with school. If I could be athletic director at some point in my career, that'd be the goal of mine for sure. And just learning, like you got the business, you're managing other people, and then if you involve sports with that, it makes it way more engaging, and I enjoy it. Yeah, I hope you do.
No, absolutely. I think you get to dip in a lot of different aspects of sports management, like you said, the business side, leadership, managing groups of people. There are actually a lot of coaches that take this program, so they can learn, how to be, there's different coaching styles, but just, learning how to be a leader. Like that's, one thing that a lot of students or future aspiring coaches can get out of that. So
for sure, like I've noticed even in our classes when I'm reading up on, like the tips and tricks of how you want to speak with people and all that. I notice Coach Shields, he's done a lot of the stuff that we learn, and I'm like, I'll notice it. Wow, like that crazy. Makes a whole lot of sense, and I've seen that help change our program around from a culture aspect. From like just the team being closer in general, and it's pretty cool to know that what you're learning actually is being applied to real life, and it has been applied towards me, so that's cool too.
You might have answered this already, but talk about where would you like to be? Where would you like to be post school and football career?
Yeah, so I was mentioning athletic director. That'd be pretty cool. At a college would be really sweet. I know I want to coach at some point. I don't know if I'll coach right after I'm done or not, but I've had some experience with it. I coached at Jim Hill Middle School. Shout out Jim Hill. Yeah, nice. I coached track out there. That was coached the middle school boys. That was a lot of fun. I think it would be a lot more fun coaching, at that high school or college level. Just more maturity, more development already. Something I can definitely touch on more, but. If I'm going to coach, I'd like to stay in this area, hopefully. I'm not really planning on going back home. It's a little expensive to live out there, and I just love the community here. So
we're happy to have you here, and there's a lot of great opportunities to be had. So
for sure.
But again, happy to have you on board here in the Magic City.
Thank you.
And now let's talk about currently on the field, your experience through the adjustment from lining up as a wideout to being a slot back. Talk about the, what you had to go through with the coaching change and Coach Shields implementing the triple option offense.
Yeah, so I came in as a running back, so switching to slot wasn't too crazy of an adjustment. I ran a similar type of offense in high school, but I switched right away when I got here after I started my freshman season in 21, was switching to that slot role, and didn't really get a lot of playing time until the following year. But I learned a whole lot from Coach Janos. He used to coach here. He's coaching in Utah, I believe, now at high school, and he expanded my horizon of the receiver position completely. I was very ignorant in that spot of on the field, and he made me grow tremendously. I had success there, and that was a whole lot of fun. And then, of course, when Coach Shields came in, it was a big switch. But like I said, it was fairly similar to some stuff I've done in high school. It's definitely been more physical on my body than the receiver position. But we still get involved through passing, and it's a lot of fun. It's been. I wish I could have done it for 4 years. That would have been cool. So I look forward to see those future freshmen to come up and get really developed, and each year, from last year to this year, even my just the expansion of the triple option offense in my head has grown so much, and it's been fun. It's been tough, but I'm glad where I'm at. So
yeah, it's a very unique playbook and formation. So like you said, there's a lot involved with that, and you guys have Minnesota Duluth coming up this weekend, playing the Bulldogs on the road. Like I said earlier when we started the show, a 2-game road trip, longest of the season. It's kind of weird to say that with 2 games, with it only being 2 games. But yeah, just talk. Is there an extra oomph? I asked Coach Shields this too. Is there an extra oomph or extra juice, to realize, okay, if we're finally done on the road, we can kind of relax. After that, go back to the Herb. I know obviously you guys still got to play first, but is there an extra juice to there being that the last road game of the season?
Yeah, I would say for sure. Like, I know for us seniors, this is our last time on that bus trip to go play at somebody else's place. And Duluth is in a very similar scenario. They've been in their last 3 games. They weren't able to come out with the win, but they were close, and that was very similar for our last 3 games. So we're in a similar spot, and we're going in there. We're preparing and we're ready to go. I know I am. You don't get opportunities like this a lot, so we just want to make the most of them. The team has been great in practice. I mean, we're working hard, and yeah, that's a little bit I can touch on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I already asked Coach, obviously he's been saying, just take care of your side, keep rolling on, keep running the ball, focusing on your identity, and just kind of talk about, keys to getting Duluth down early. How do you guys start quick and get Duluth, bring them down early, kind of try to bury them, because like you said, they're also in a similar position, 3-game losing streaks. How do you guys get after them?
I think it's pretty simple. We've struggled in the first quarter, so I think coming out, whether it's with the ball or not, we got to get a stop or we got to score, and we're obviously going to do that by running the football. There's no nothing covering that up, but we got to protect the football, and we just got to do our job and play physical. Like, Duluth has always been a physical team every year I've played them, and it's going to start right at the line of scrimmage. We got some great talent up front with Swerple, Spino, Schneibel, Sanchez, and of course the young guy Shoemate. They've been playing their butts off, and if we can make a statement up front, I know offensively that's going to be the way we can control the game. We obviously want to control the time of possession, and you look at all these keys to victory. If you succeed in most of them, you're probably going to come out on top. So that's something that we always put our mind on. But the defense has been balling out too. If we can just, like I said, the time of possession, keep those guys off the field. Those guys if we keep them fresh. I know Psycho's been a little banged up, but he'll be ready to go. Mizell's always in there smacking somebody. So it's been really simple for us when we do it right, when we do it the way we know we can, and especially in those wins that we've had this season. That's the way it's supposed to look, and that's how we plan to make it look.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck this weekend against Duluth. A couple last fun questions here for you, Eric, before we send you off. On campus, or I guess it could be off depending on the venue, what was the best game you attended that was not your sport in person, the best Minot State athletic sporting event, if it applies?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I can't remember exactly who they were playing, but it was one of our playoff games here, I believe, men's basketball, and we got most of our team there, right behind the hoop.
The student section.
Yeah, I was one of the guys that painted their stomach with the
nice.
words on it and everything. So that was cool. It's so much fun when we can get at least even just half our team out to an event, because we got so many of us, and that really builds up the energy, not only for us to have fun, but for those guys on the court or where we're at. That was definitely, yeah, I could show you some pictures of that. That was
nice.
fun. That was a cool night.
Yeah, one last thing for you, Erik, before we get you out of here. Do you have any rooting or watching interest around the world of sports? I know NIL has been running rampant. You being a college athlete, I'm sure you can kind of understand, seeing what is happening around the country, even with conference realignment. What fascinates you? What do you like to watch or root for?
I try and keep up with all the stuff that's going on, but it's not necessarily a priority of mine.
That's right. Yeah.
I know that I think the whole NIL thing is, I know it's going to keep changing. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. That affects the pros at every league as well. You got, especially at those big D1 Power 5 schools, you could stay in college another year or two despite being able to go further, and you could still make a lot of money just staying in school, and that's changing a whole lot of things up. I know that's changing recruiting. It's gotta take a toll on coaching for sure. Just the whole recruitment process and what you have to offer. That's the one thing I don't really necessarily like about it, is you get guys that are more, and girls that are probably focused on more themselves versus what the team has to offer. And to a certain extent, you kind of make sense in a way, especially if it's like a Power 5 school. Like, that can set up you and your family, depending on how much that can be. It's a little messy, but it's cool. Yep. It's cool to see how that's gonna play out. What are your thoughts on that?
It's crazy. It's the Wild West right now. Kind of put me on the spot, but that's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Wild West. It's going to be changing. At some point. Just people got to adapt. That's my 1,000-foot view of it right now. If I could get into a little more detail, maybe for another show someday. Yeah. But no, certainly. It's very fluid, still changing. So, yeah, good stuff there, Erik. And do you have a Heisman prediction? Who do you think wins the Heisman?
Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty, bro. He is crazy. That's what I'm hoping. It's usually been like a quarterback award. I think it'll either be him or Travis Hunter. But I love the running back. I love the running back spot, and what he's doing, no one's done in so long. So it's really cool to watch. Yeah, very tough to argue that. Any final thoughts before you go, Erik? Anything you want to say to the fans? Man. I'm just super proud of how my team has performed this year, and it's been great to see the community come together, and the atmosphere is changing, and I'm just really glad that I could be a part of it, because this group of guys is it's been I'm gonna miss them for sure. So it's probably part of why I'm sticking around. But just roll Beavs. Roll Beavs as always, onward. Thank you so much, Erik. Thanks for being on the show today. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yep, there you go, Beaver fans. You just heard slot back Erik Palmquist telling us his story, and giving off great moments all throughout the gridiron and off the field as well, and sharing a little bit of what he has here going on through Minot State campus. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest Meet the Beavers. Again, Beaver football at Duluth this weekend, so hoping for a road victory this time around as we converge back here next week. But we want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host, Cole Clementich. This has been Meet the Beavers. We'll see you all next week following what is hopefully a Beavers win over the Bulldogs. We'll see you next time.